topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
And welcome to Triversity Talk. I'm Wendy Stewart, your hostess with the mostest on this windy Wednesday night. Okay, I got that all out in a mouthful. I hope everybody is doing well. We are now well into spring and summer is kicking up the rear. I'm sure like every organization out there is planning for their Pride events, but prior to Pride, I like that, prior to Pride, of course, there's everything going on in April and May. And all of you know, I am based in New York City, but I am in Milford, Pennsylvania, many weekends where Triversity is located. And please check us out online. We have our Triversity, the Pride Center on Facebook, and we also announce all of our upcoming events on there as well. I know we have added in game night, which is really cool, and we have our book club happening, which last week on the show, I interviewed the writer whose book we're reviewing. He wrote Servant, and oh my God, the book is scary. And he was just such a terrific interview. So yeah, please check out Triversity's page on Facebook. And here in New York, as many of you know, I work with the Imperial Court of New York. We raise money for many other LGBTQs. And we also raise money for nursing homes by performing. Our show, April in Paris, is coming up. That's going to be on April 28th. That will be at Industry Bar here in New York. Yay! I am doing a fabulous lip sync because I can't sing to save my life. But if you're in New York City, please come and see us April 28th. It will be at 5:00. And on May 4th, you can catch me performing in 50 Shades of Gay at the Copa here in New York City. Ike Avelli, who's been on this show, is the producer, of course. He stars in the show along with Tim Moss, who's my co-host in my afternoon show, If These Walls Could Talk. My God, I just feel like I have one announcement after the next today. It's kind of crazy. And this Sunday, if you are in Dingman's Ferry, I am being honored by the Zimmerman Purse Democrats, and as well as my husband who recently passed away, Alan Kaplan. It's an honor to be honored is all I can say when your community gathers around you when you really need them to. So all great stuff. That event is from 2 to 5, and you can find more information about it on the Zimmerman Pierce page on Facebook, and Pierce is spelled P-E-I-R-C-E. It's pronounced purse. I don't know. I was never really good with phonics. Anyway, very, very excited about our guest tonight. I'd actually known about her for a while because her name just kept coming up over the past couple of years, and I'm so happy to get her on the show tonight. She is a visionary leader. She is dedicated to advancing LGBTQ plus rights and fostering inclusive communities. I am just dying to hear more about this dynamic person. Please welcome Marie Cottrell from out Montclair.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. And I have been hearing your name forever from various people. And it's great to have you on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So you recently first of all, I've known about Out Montclair, and you guys have a really big pride.
Yeah, we do.
It's a pride that a lot of people want to be involved in. So, Marie, if you could just take us back to the beginning of Out Montclair.
Oh, wow. So Out Montclair, will be our third year of Pride. The organization itself is about 3.5 years old, which is amazing for the work that this organization has done to date. It was co-founded by 5 local individuals and who had a similar passion to ensure that the LGBT community in Montclair and the surrounding areas were able to be seen and gather safely and really bring awareness to the community. So I'm really, excited to be part of this organization, and excited. I started off when I heard that Montclair was going to, for the first time, have their Pride Festival. So I DM'd on Facebook a person I never knew and said, "Oh, hi, it's COVID," because it started in COVID.
Right, it did.
And I said, yeah, and I said, "Listen, here is all my skill sets and my career history, and I'd love to be considered for the planning committee." And they were like, "Will you be the event director?" And I said, "Yes, please, and thank you." So the first year of Pride, I was working for a local law firm that was LGBT focused, and I led the planning of Montclair Pride as a part-time evening job.
And I think I know the law firm you were working for.
Argentino Fiore, who
right,
you know.
Of course, because I had people from that show early on with our Triversity Talk. They were on early on, which is really, really cool. One was, I think, the lawyer Cara Farmagina.
Oh, Cara never worked for Argentino. Cara owns her own law firm in Morris County.
That's right. The other person is Celeste, I think.
Celeste Fiore, who is the founder of the Trans Affirming Alliance that's located here in Montclair, and was a partner of that law firm.
Well, a great place to start, really, for you, right?
I had been friends with for them and their partner at the law firm for a while. So when COVID hit, they were like, "Do you want to come and do something?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I ended up staying with them as their director of marketing and operations for 2 or 3 years. And then after the first Pride, Out Montclair offered me a position as the event director of Montclair Pride. And I was like, yes, because why would I not want to apply my skill set and do that for my community? So I did. And we had our first Pride brought to Montclair for just over 14,500 people, which I was blown away.
And this really was still COVID.
It was the first year coming out of COVID, and it's the first time of doing anything. You build it and you hope people come, and you don't know. And I was like, maybe 14,000.
Wow.
So that tells you the desire for something like this. It had nothing to do with us. We were the stewards of bringing this event to the town. Right. It being Pride was what people were looking for and people came up for. And it was overwhelming, emotionally overwhelming to see the support that occurred on that day. Our second year, last year, we added a stage. So we went from 2 to 3 stages last year. We added a community stage. So anyone who had a talent could go book 5 minutes and be on stage. So it was great.
I love that they could have their 5 minutes of fame for any talent. Wasn't great?
It's amazing. And I was blown away that we had over 26,500 people who came last year, which is, in the scheme of things, tremendous. Right.
I'm being blown away by those numbers. I perform at New Jersey Pride every year. The New Jersey City
Fantastic Pride Festival. Pride,
But
by the way.
you would think, right? Montclair is so close to Jersey City and New York City, but yet obviously you're filling this huge need because these numbers are really great.
They are great, right? And it really is a testament to the community coming out, and not just the LGBTQ plus community, but also allies and their
Yeah.
families. Everyone's coming out. The businesses are coming out. It was a beautiful show of love and acceptance from both communities. Uh,
Absolutely.
and it was fantastic. And we never, ever, well, I know I never planned for we're going to make this huge. That's not my aim. My aim is to be able to create a space that people are going to really
Safe
enjoy
space. Yeah.
coming to, right? And there are there are some amazing prides that are happening all around New Jersey and that have happened for a very long time. And I'm totally in awe, Asbury Park, Jersey City, North Jersey, Newark Pride. They've been around for a long time and pull in a lot of people. So I feel very honored that
To
we are amongst these great organizations.
Well,
Uh,
I love hearing, first of all, what you're saying, because we're like where we are in Pike County in Milford, Pennsylvania, we have Sussex Pride, and Zoe does a great job with it. But
yep.
you realize when people come by the questions they ask you, you're not going to get 14,000 people. You just and the numbers may be there, but it's the dynamic. You used earlier in the conversation the word safe. I often feel like in the Pike County area, Sussex County, the more what I call rural areas, with not being judgmental, but people that are LGBTQ plus don't feel all that safe, especially a lot of the kids that are, in high school, going to school out there. It's way different. Like Montclair is great. It's like,
That's a really important point, Wendy, because I firmly believe it's fantastic that we do it. Asbury Park does it, Jersey City,
yes,
Maplewood,
absolutely.
because they're affirming locations.
Yeah,
What we need is more Sussex
right.
pride. We need more Bloomfield prides. We need more Nutley prides. We need prides in town. Like, I would love for every town to raise a flag in June.
Right. To have a rainbow flag fly in June.
But unfortunately, we know the landscape, and that's not possible. You only needed to see what happened in Booton this week when the town council reversed the right for the pride flag to be raised at their municipal flagpole.
I
So,
know.
and the reason why it doesn't matter, the fact is it happened, and there's discrimination that's behind that. You can't say it's anything but rhetoric, and narrative will be spun for it to be whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if there wasn't discrimination and there wasn't, I'll just leave it at discrimination,
It is,
then
but that's exactly what it is. It's
there
a
wouldn't be a
discrimination.
reason for it, right? There wouldn't be a conversation about why it should be revoked. So if every town could raise a flag, that would be fantastic. And to that point, we are partnering with the city of East Orange. If anyone knows the city of East Orange here in Essex County, we're partnering with them this year to help them with their Pride flag raising and festival. We're
Fabulous.
bringing our team and our skill set and our people to let those in that community know it is okay and we are here. And if you don't feel safe to come out in East Orange, then that's okay. There's places close by that would welcome you, right? But showing up in conservative towns is important,
I
because
agree.
we're trying to
That's
reach those youth that are sitting in their houses that are too scared to come out, and also come out of their homes.
right.
And, to have representation is super important. So we're looking forward to that. We're partnering with Lene Grant from the city of East Orange, and that's happening on June 21st. Sorry for the plug, but come on out.
First of all, thank you for that, because Montclair Pride is successful, and to have something your size reach out to the smaller communities and say, hey, we've got your back. I mean, that is really what needs to happen across the board. Okay, raise the flag, make the presents, have the pride, because with this election year and the environment out there and the kinds of bills that have been proposed, it is even for me, and I'm the optimist all the time, I find it to be a very scary time. And
it really is. I mean, right now there's still over 180 bills going through the legislation
over
nationally.
180, yeah.
Right, we know that. But it's actually really interesting. There was an article in 19ththem.org that quotes the HRC and ACLU saying that there's a glimmer of hope. So what they're seeing and what they're following and the work that they're doing, they are seeing that the number of bills that are being passed are significantly less. So, for example, Florida, last year they passed, I believe it was 6 bills, which was more than they had collectively passed in the last 7 years. This last legislature, 1.
Okay.
So they're saying that it's cautiously optimistic, right? That there is this tide that is starting to happen where it's turning, and that the people who are turning up at these town council meetings and the state levels and who are advocating for LGBT, but most importantly, trans rights, are changing minds, right? So they're changing hearts and minds. So we're seeing that now, right? Where politicians aren't running and tripping over each other to get to the microphone to spew anti-trans hate.
So do you think, how much of that do you think is connected to our last president, right, losing favor? And you know what I'm saying? People will jump on a bandwagon and say, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't be attacking trans people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them,
I'm not qualified to say if it's connected to him or not, but what I can say is what I've seen, and I'm seeing advocates and activists come out and stand up for and stand in front of and, you know, for our trans community. And it's making the HRC and the ACLU and others are you know, saying that they're starting to see that it's making a difference. And I just hope that that path continues and that trajectory escalates because it is time for all this to end.
Right, right. And, you know, it should be the next couple of months, as I like to say, should be interesting. I tend to think it's going to be a big roller coaster ride. I think all of us are going to get a feel for things as we roll into June, which is Pride Month, and you see what kind of pushback and what happens. Again, you know, I talk about Milford, Pennsylvania, or I talk about New York. New York City is a very safe space. You know, when I tell people in organizations here, the things I hear out in Pennsylvania, they're like, oh, come on. I'm like, 1 hour and 40 minutes. It could be Sussex. It could be Pike County. It could be Wayne County. It doesn't matter. Yep. Okay. You hear things that make your hair stand on end. And people here in the city, when I tell them that, they think I'm exaggerating. And I'm like, no, it's like the stuff that you read in the paper. So I think this summer to me is going to be very telling for all of us.
I agree.
You know,
and it can't be more important. Please vote. Please register.
Thank you.
It is so critical that everyone who's able to, you know, gets out and casts a vote.
Right. Absolutely. Now you have your spring fling is coming up
tomorrow night. We're very excited
on the show tonight. I saw that and I'm like, oh my gosh, you should be getting ready for the spring fling.
Oh, we are. Today has been a day. The team is working hard, tying up loose ends. It is tomorrow night. This is one event that we all really look forward to. This is a dance party. Who's your
DJ? Who's your DJ?
DJ Tony from New York City. She is amazing, a very talented African-American DJ that has a huge following within the community. So we're really looking forward to being dancing to her tunes, which is fantastic. We also have Mimi Sashimi and Prima Love to
I know Mimi Sashimi. I love Mimi. And by the way,
amazing, right?
and besides that amazing voice and amazing presence, an incredible seamstress. Oh
I
my
know. I follow her on Instagram. I'm watching
so
all her little
talented.
sneak peeks of her pride costume. So really,
She does, you know what? It's just above and beyond costuming. She's so talented.
it's bringing back glamour and
Yes.
that
Yeah.
uh, ball gown dresses.
Right.
There's a sense of elegance to everything. It's just she's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're really looking forward to it. Come on out. We're at 8 Lackawanna Plaza at the Loft tomorrow night, starting at 7:30.
That's really fabulous. Now, I just want to backtrack a little bit. Basically, Out Montclair started during the pandemic.
Right.
So Triversity was already running during the pandemic. What are we in our 13th year now? But our amazing executive director at the time, Stephen Bloomer Teague, and his husband Richard Bloomer. Stephen was very skilled with online, which I'm not. He ran that entire I was like, when the pandemic hit, I'm like, WTF, we are so screwed because we can't have any events. And we have a wonderful center. What the heck is going to happen to everything? Stephen we did talent shows online. We did a holiday party online. We
I
did
know, right?
club online. Marie, I'm not an online oriented person. So I was just in total and complete awe of this whole thing, especially when we did a talent show online. I'm like, Stephen, how the heck are you going to do this?
I saw it. It was amazing.
I know it was great, Marie. Amazing.
Triversity entertained me during COVID, the Newark LGBT Community Center,
Yes.
Drag Bingo. There were so many organizations who brought entertainment and information and knowledge and resources online that, I have to say, COVID is a lonely time for a lot of people in this community.
Right.
Or it was a lonely time for a lot of people in this community. So having the ability to be able to watch your talent shows and go do drag bingo or participate in a panel discussion.
Right, the panel discussion. We did a Transgender Day of Visibility. You're absolutely right. It really turned my head around because I was not a fan of I'm not a technical person. I love being in a room. I love being in a space with lots of people. I love people. Now, all of a sudden, I'm looking at a screen, right? And kicking and screaming the entire time. But what a sense of community got fostered during COVID. And, kudos to Out Montclair that you all were able to form during COVID,
It's a testament to the desire or the need for Out Montclair. The very first activity we had was a webinar around pronouns and educating anyone who wanted to be educated on pronouns. And from there, it's sort of everything catapulted. And, we're an organization that really prides itself on bringing the community together in areas and in spaces that allow people to be their authentic selves. So we know there's a need for programming for teens because teens need to be able to see themselves in someone else and form those friendships and know they're not alone and, not succumb to mental health issues or, anything else that
they might be subject
to when they're not socialized with people who are like them. We have a families program. We have a family program. We have a very solid trans program. We have a 50+ program, and we do evening events for and we partner with a lot of local businesses, like the Vanguard Theatre does an amazing job, and they're amazing partners. And, we really support them. We have a fantastic program with the Montclair Public Library. We have queer lit clubs. And, there's a sci-fi, there's a romance, there's anything. We've started a teens one. We're really trying to find ways to bring the community together. We're starting.
Well, I really have to say, the amount of partnering you do is extremely impressive. For being around 3 years and your outreach to local businesses and the response that you're getting, have you gotten pushback in a negative way to businesses you've reached out to?
No, not one.
Not one.
Not one. And I think that's where our privilege is in being in Montclair.
Right.
That the businesses here understand that this is a very diverse town.
Right. It's also a very creative. Montclair is known. You have a film festival.
Yes. Yeah. We have the Jazz Festival, the second largest jazz festival in the country. Absolutely. We have Montclair Film that happens in October, one of the premier film festivals that happen. You've got Montclair Pride. We have amazing festivals that happen around. There's a new flea market that's just started up. It is amazing. We have the Walnut Street Festival. The AAPI do some amazing festivals. One's coming up. It's a lantern festival. There's a lot of nonprofits here that support and provide services for marginalized communities. The NAACP is very active here in Montclair. They do amazing events. So we are fortunate that Montclair has over 80 nonprofits.
Amazing. That's amazing. And the support that you're getting from
the partnerships that we have with these nonprofits as well. We have, we are weaving a fabric of support amongst all those nonprofits, slowly, but not just within Montclair. We are partnering with a lot of organizations outside of Montclair, EDS New Jersey, NJCRI. We're talking to Hyacinth. There are a lot of amazing organizations that do grassroots, ground level work that help support the community. And we are inclusive, not exclusive.
Right.
And we are really looking to support these organizations and bringing them to Montclair and having them bring their services to Montclair as well.
But you're giving them visibility. The problem with a lot of very small non-for-profits, grassroots non-for-profits, they don't get the visibility.
I mean, but look at Hyacinth. They're a powerhouse in HIV, NJCRI, EDS New Jersey. These are all powerhouse nonprofits that have been around for a really long time that service different areas of the population within New Jersey. So in partnering with them, we can bring their services closer into Montclair, into communities that don't have those services, but have community that we know are a part of our membership. And we can, ensure that they have access to these resources and access to these amazing organizations that do really fantastic work.
Right. Right. It really is about weaving a tapestry with each other at the end of the day. What are some of the, we're talking about a lot of the positives here, which is really great. What are some of the challenges, Marie, as the executive director, that you encounter, your frustrations?
So we know that there are pressures outside of our community who are active in trying to marginalize us even further. And there's an organization that has brought itself to Montclair that is masked in, a foundation for fighting against intolerance and racism, and yet that is exactly what they're doing. They're creating intolerance within our school systems, or trying to create intolerance for our transgender youth in our school system. You know, and I don't even want to give them
Don't even give them the
right.
credibility of
But,
saying their name.
No, I'm not. But, you know, the Southern Poverty Law Center, for example, has named them as a key voice in amplifying anti-LGBTQ pseudoscience. They frame parental rights to suppress our community's representation, and they fight to oppose the social affirmation of trans people. So they have criticized the Department of Health. You know, they are totally against the protection of individuals receiving gender affirming care. And this is something that is in our backyard and in our neighborhood. And it is not just the LGBT community that they are rallying against, but they're about dismantling D&I. So any marginalized community in Montclair will eventually be tried to be touched by this organization. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I worry about. And having a lot of conversations, forming coalitions, trying to be thoughtful in the response back to these organizations, and really trying to find a path of making sure that we can protect our youth in the school systems. The great thing is, I mean, we see it all the time on a daily basis, right? Board of Education's trying to revoke 5756, which is the protection of trans kids in the school systems. This is unlawful.
It is absolutely unlawful.
So Board of Educations, though, in conservative towns are revoking it. And everyone's up in arms, and everyone should be up in arms that people want to revoke this. But I smile because I know our Attorney General is not that far behind in suing them to ensure that they don't break the law. So, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot. But, you know, it is something that should get us up out of bed every night. It is something that we should put our efforts against and for, right, in the support and protection of our community. And we just do it hopefully with thoughtfulness and a lot of consideration. And partner with organizations that are also looking to do no harm to our community.
Of course,
and to form coalitions. You know,
you brought up the schools. Have you or anyone in your organization gone to the school board meetings where these other groups are quite loud and in terms of what they're saying?
You know,
what's the general feel from the other parents that are at the school board meetings?
It is split. So there are a lot of Board of Education throughout New Jersey who are trying to revoke it. We try to get to as many as we can, and we mobilize our community. Garden State Equality do a fantastic job of leading the charge and providing narrative and resources, right? They are there, they're on the legislative side, but we have activists like Simone Krause. We have activists like Celeste Fiore. We have activists like Daniela Mendez, I'm sorry.
Who I've had on the show. These are all walk the walk, talk the talk,
fight the fight.
They have all the right language and the ability to use words in a certain way, because honestly, that is what it takes.
It does. And, you know, we have a few of our board members who turn up and speak on behalf of the trans community. And Wendy, you know, it's split. Right. But if you can change one person's mind on the board, like what happened at the Ramapo Board of Education, you know, one person decided to, you know, vote against the revoking of 5756. That was one person. If we can just change one person's mind every day, then there's progress made. But, you know, you've got to give credit where credit's due, and Garden State Equality are on the forefront of this.
Well, and you know what, also you saying earlier that there are less bills, okay, passing at this point, that proves exactly what you're saying. Minds are being changed, and it
Right.
does have to be one mind at a time. We have a comment on here I would like to read from, I hope I'm saying it right, Chicana Rose. Does that sound correct? I find using the word marginalized is a trigger for me. I'm a person of trans experience. Stop using the marginalized words. It further stigmas, and I find it hurts when we use it in our own communities. Okay, that's an
That's fair.
honest comment. Yeah.
Fair,
And definitely considered.
for
There's so
sure.
many buzzwords out there is all I can tell you. And even with our language, right? For me too. We're always learning new ways to talk to people, and we're always trying to consider people's feelings. And in
Sure.
the world, we all really need to be, I always say that, mindful of every person whose path we cross. And I'm guilty of it too. You know, I constantly use the word "you guys," and that's just a saying I grew up with, right? But now
Right.
I say to people, "Are you okay if I use you guys?" And usually people are fine with it. But you know what? Sometimes
You know, Wendy, words matter,
they
right?
do,
Words
totally.
matter. And, if it's triggering, I'm very sorry. And that is a word that I will remove from my vocabulary because we are all on a journey of learning, right?
Thank thank
Uh,
you very much, Marie. We're all human. We're on a journey of learning. And
correct.
Shekinah Rose says, "I'm a language justice warrior." I love that. But
Love it.
we are on a journey, and I really think as people, certainly going into the next year, all of us really need to be more conscious of being empathetic human beings. I
For
find in general there's such it's devoid. The world has become so devoid of empathy and caring, right? And I'm going to use a word terminology from the Bible. I am my brother's keeper. But we have forgotten that we really have to all have each other's backs. I'm going to go back. I'm circling back to what you said about partnering. You've used that a lot. I think it's really brilliant. And it is outreach. It's getting people on your team. And that in alone is going to be the ability to change things.
right.
How
It's
did you become such a grassroots warrior to not only be aware, Marie, but want to and know that you can change things? Like where did this all start for you?
I think my mother, I have her strength and I have her resolve and her desire to
Was
be.
your mom an activist?
No, she's not. She's a very strong Greek mother.
She's
So
Greek.
yes,
Oh, okay.
my family is Greek. So I it's just, Wendy, through my lived experience, and my trajectory in life has brought me to the United States. It allowed me to build a beautiful career that I absolutely loved, and during COVID, I was able to hone my skills, to provide my skill set, to create these amazing, safe, and affirming spaces for my community.
Yes,
And, it is something that if I had when I was younger, I don't know how different my life would have been. I know
right.
that I know that a few of my friends would still be with us,
Right.
right?
If they
So
had
the work that we do impacts people's lives
agreed.
that we don't know, and
Right.
how deep it is, right? I've received emails from youth saying, "Thank you for doing Pride. I wasn't sure I was going to be here today, but I found community." So it is really the work that we do, every single one of us in any
Yeah.
organization that is supporting this community, providing services for this community, do it not because of self, do it for the community. And, it is a selfless a selfless act to give yourself in this way, to know that what you're doing makes a difference in people's lives. It's not just making a corporation a lot of money, right? That you are
Right.
actively engaging and enhancing the lived experience of people in your community and
Well,
helping
but
them
it's also
survive, not just, helping them thrive, not
right.
survive, right?
Having them thrive. And it's what you just said. It's getting that email from that teen, right?
Right.
I I need to know that if I'm doing something, there's going to be a result that's going to affect somebody positively. And I had someone, sort of an acquaintance, say to me, "Why do you do this? Why do you care?" Like, and my answer to her was, "Why are you even asking?" I couldn't even wrap my head. But for me, from the time I was a kid, and thank God I have a daughter that's exactly the same way, we were always aware of the person that was hurting or the person that needed help. And I'm still that way. And I wish more people were like that, you know.
Mm,
I love what you're doing. I love what your organization is
thank
doing.
you.
And I again, 3 years, and the first year in COVID doesn't even really count because all of our hands were so tied. But in many ways, it does count
It
because
does.
that was the time when, oh my God, the isolation was
The,
huge.
Right. And also the foundation was set by the founding members of this
Right.
organization for us
Right.
to be able to propel where we are and actually propel even further. So I'm really looking forward to carrying this organization forward and
I
really
think
ensuring that their mission, we achieve their mission and exceed their mission, and
right.
that we can create safe, affirming places and help other organizations and other towns,
Yeah,
you know, be able to celebrate their LGBTQ plus community safely, uh,
absolutely.
and authentically.
For me, so much has got to do with the kids, okay? Because I, yes, it is definitely hard for adults, and certainly, my God, I had so many discussions with Simone because
Mm,
that group came to Triversity, people transitioning over 50. I wasn't aware of that in New York. Everyone I knew that had transitioned or was anywhere on that train to transitioning and getting off of whatever stop they want, they did it in their 20s and 30s. I never met people before that were
mm,
over 50 with a job where they were perceived one way. And like I like to say, a house with a white picket fence. That's a huge changer. In a lot of ways, for the kids that are coming up, the trans kids are at least getting support from these LGBTQ plus organizations. They're meeting other people that they can relate to. Okay. So they're not going out into the world living a lie. Okay. Living day after day, really being unhappy, never being who they know they really are. They're getting a chance that many people over 50 never got. And it's certainly something I became aware of. And I do share that with a lot of people. I've done a number of shows about transitioning later in life. We even had the team from the Mount Sinai come on here to talk what was involved and to get it from a medical perspective. I try and do that on the shows too. I think we have to look at every component. And if we are going to be educators and speakers, we have to be able to get out there and stand behind what we're saying. And that's why I do this show, to get
No,
people on.
you're absolutely right. And there's, a lot of hard conversations that need to be had. I mean,
Thank
there is a
you.
lot of trauma, right, with law enforcement, with religion, with, the healthcare system. There is so much work and progress that needs to be made,
Yeah,
that in these areas for people to feel safe
right.
and to be able to live authentically. And it is critical that that work happens within those areas, and the work is happening.
Right.
But what's also important is ensuring that the parents of these trans children have the support they need to be able to help their trans child to
I,
trans.
I I totally agree
Right?
with you. And I think that, we talk about the trans children in our conversations, but I've also had someone that ran a parent group. I've had two different people that have come on that ran a parent group. It is very isolating for parents of trans children, all right, on so many levels. They can be, as parents, completely accepting. But I had one mom bring up, it's all fine until the kid has a sleepover, right? And they're changing their clothes, and the child is perceived, right, as female, except biologically, right, it is now, when they're changing clothes, perceived as male. These are real issues.
There's a lot of considerations,
There's
right?
so many considerations, and how do you protect your kid from that?
Yeah. And the good thing is there's some amazing therapists, psychotherapists,
Yes.
Organizations, parents who are leading the charge, that are speaking out and providing assistance and care for parents of trans children. So, we just always ask for people to reach out. We're very good at connecting people to resources, throughout New Jersey. And if we don't know someone in your area, we will find it because our network is so great.
Your network is that huge. I think that is just amazing. What kinds of things do you want to see for Out Montclair going forward?
Oh, wow. So much.
A loaded
So
question.
So much. Beyond the proliferation of our teens and our family programs, like, it's really important to bring these communities, these two subsets of the community together. My vision for Out Montclair is that we become this preferred partner. We do. Our mission is to create these amazing spaces and events and programs and provide resources for the community. We partner with a lot of different organizations. So to be that partner where we can bring organizations to the community or provide the visibility of these organizations throughout New Jersey is really our wish. Would we love to have an LGBT center here in Montclair? Absolutely. But that's not in our 2-year plan. So, but being able to ensure that we continue to bring visibility to this community and resources and organizations that provide services for this community is really, where it's at, because we need organizations and businesses to be vocal, that they provide gender affirming care even after, even during this landscape, right? To be brave enough to
Take a stand.
stand up for and with this community, and
Right.
to be resilient enough to take the backlash and know it's temporary.
Right.
So
And you have found, from what you're saying, you have found that they are willing to take that risk.
absolutely, and rightly so.
Right.
So
Right. Well, I have to say it's really wonderful to have that support. So, Marie, for you personally, because we're down to the last couple of minutes, I don't know where the time went. And before I get to you, I just want to acknowledge Mary Weber Krause said, "We love. How much do we love Mary Weber Krause?
Yeah.
She's an amazing partner to
Yep.
Simone, but Mary aggregates
She's a
all kinds of
force.
information that's going on all over this country. Like I said, you have such a special skill for doing that." She said, "We are all just walking each other home and learning."
Mary is a force to be reckoned with.
A force to be reckoned with. And 100%, 100% right on that. So you personally, what do you want in your own world personally, Marie?
I want everyone to live authentically and to be given the space and the respect to do so.
Right.
I don't think anyone should have less than that.
Right.
That should be that should be the floor, and for everyone to be able to have the ability to thrive.
Yeah. And in terms of what you just said and a bigger picture, do you foresee in your area being able to go into high schools and talk about some of this stuff? Like, where is all that going in your area?
So, we're lucky that there are a lot of GSAs, right? There's
Yes.
GSAs throughout the school system. We are invited by them to come and talk to students, at times, but we also try and partner with the PTAs. So it's
You
through
do? Wow. What is that like?
again, we're in Montclair.
Right.
So
That's a good answer.
it wouldn't be what it would be like in a conservative town, but
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But of course, in Montclair, right?
But
It's
reaching youth and ensuring the youth have the resources and know that they have the support and there are organizations and people that they can turn to if they
right.
can't turn to their families and their familial members, that, we are here. And, we're here. We have a lot of people who will
Right.
engage.
I thank you, first of all, so much for being on the show. Thank you for everything that Out Montclair is doing. Again, your Pride is June 8th, yeah?
June 8th, 12 to 9:30. Yeah.
12 to 9:30. I have two friends that are going to be vendors at your
Oh,
Pride.
fantastic.
They're very excited. And my amazing friend, Cecily, who's an incredible singer, is the one that told me how magnificent Montclair Pride was last year. So I'm sure she's going to go this year. Before I say goodbye, because my God, I'm going to get the hook, I always take a picture. So look, cheese. One more. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing and how much of yourself that you're giving. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and your comments, and have a great rest of week. We'll be back, and take care of yourselves, and remember, be kind to other people. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Wendy.